It's Halloween Friday, October 31st, and the weather is going to look very different from what we've seen very recently. I'm sure you've already read it, but there are no thunderstorms forecast from the Storm Prediction Center. This is the first time in months that we've seen this. I personally cannot remember the last time that there were no thunderstorms forecast, so there's not really a better time than Halloween for a forecast like this to come out. So that's definitely very good, and we're expecting some really good weather across the country for Halloween. And on top of the no thunderstorms, it looks like the temperatures are going to be looking like actual fall temperatures for the first time in a bit on Halloween. I can remember the past couple of Halloweens down here in the southeast having to actually take off layers because it was so warm, but it looks like the weather pretty much anywhere below an imaginary line I'm going to draw, anywhere below the northeast Great Lakes, northern plains, central and northern Rockies is going to be essentially perfect. You're going to be feeling anywhere between the mid 70s to mid 50s feels like temperatures. If you're above that line, likely going to need to layer up. You could potentially be feeling anything from the mid 40s all the way down to the mid 30s, with of course those lower temperatures being closer to the Canadian border. But overall, it looks like the weather on top of our temperatures is going to be really almost perfect for Halloween. So this is really good news. Really happy to see some awesome weather on a day like today. So a question you might be having is, why are we suddenly getting this really awesome weather? Of course, we're thankful for it, but we're a little curious as to why this is happening. And this is going to be your answer. We have a really big trough overspreading pretty much the entire United States. You can watch this isobar covering everything from almost California, descending all the way down into the Gulf and kind of engulfing the entire US. This is bringing loads of cool and dry air. That's kind of why we're seeing those cooler temperatures, and that dry air is why we're not really expecting to see any thunderstorms. Now, normally with something like this, we might point out, oh, there might be some large scale ascent from some forcing or something like that, but the ingredients and air is going to be pretty dry and stable that we're not expecting to see anything like this. Now, that doesn't mean in the coming days that we won't see some thunderstorms, and it also doesn't mean that we're not going to see some showers today. It's not going to be entirely clear in some areas, but it just means that we're not going to be seeing those stronger thunderstorms, and we are going to be seeing those amazing temperatures. And this is going to be just a really quick peek at where we could be expecting some showers today. Of course, we're going to have some of our trough and low pressure centers kind of up here in the northeast. I would say anywhere north of New York has the potential to see some showery weather if you're going out and trick-or-treating or doing anything outside, likely starting around the mid-afternoon. Likely going to be some showers up there even as we get to around the evening hours when trick-or-treating is really going to start ramping up. Looks like it's going to be pretty persistent up there. Nothing strong though. Looks like it's just going to be some weak showery weather. I'm sure you could put on a rain slicker or something to brave that if you still want to go up. Probably going to be pretty cold up there also, so with the rain might not be the best idea to go outside, but if you really wanted to, nothing's really going to stop you there weather-wise. We also could see a couple of isolated blips up here near Minnesota and the Dakotas around when trick-or-treating is going to really start ramping up around nightfall. Still, those look pretty isolated and pretty weak. I'm sure if you want to go outside, that's not really going to hinder you. That's probably going to be no factor, and it looks like we could just have a lot of weak, showery, misty precipitation around the central and southern plains. Specifically, I'm talking Oklahoma and Kansas. Once again, looks really weak, and it's probably going to be warm enough there. Not really going to be a factor. Now, somewhere where I do want to point out where it could be a factor is going to be up here in the far Pacific Northwest. I'm talking Oregon and Washington. There's going to be a little bit of a cyclone offshore that's going to start ejecting and coming onshore. It looks like that could bring quite a bit of precipitation, and it's already going to be pretty cold up there. That likely will be a factor, and it's probably going to be really windy also, specifically in those coastal areas. So definitely want to watch out for some wind chill and some really chilly and kind of nasty weather up there. But pretty much everywhere else in the country, the temperature is going to be great, and the weather-wise precipitation is going to be great. Pretty much a 0% chance, except in the areas that I just pointed out. So we're definitely really happy to see some awesome weather this Halloween. And yeah, happy Halloween. Hope you have a good Halloween and enjoy it.